The phone rang at 6 in the morning, dragging Maya out of a deep sleep. She fumbled for it in the darkness, squinting at the bright screen. It was her twin sister, Sophie. "Please tell me you're calling to say good morning," Maya mumbled, though she knew better. Sophie never called this early unless something was wrong. "I need your help." Sophie's voice sounded weak and strained. "I'm so sick, Maya. I can't even stand up without feeling like I'm going to pass out." Maya sat up, suddenly alert. "What happened?" "That seafood place I tried last night. Big mistake. I've been up all night and I feel terrible. But I have work today and I can't miss it. The family is really strict about reliability." Maya rubbed her eyes. "Can't you just call in sick?" "Everyone gets sick sometimes. I've only been working there for 4 months. I can't risk losing this job. The pay is amazing and I finally have some stability." Sophie paused and Maya could hear her sister's labored breathing. "I need you to cover for me. Just for today." "Cover for you?" "Sophie, I don't know anything about being a nanny. It's easy, I promise. The little girl is 5 years old and she's really sweet. Her name is Lily. You just need to give her breakfast, play with her, make sure she has lunch, and keep her entertained until the evening. Her father is never home during the day. He works crazy hours and usually doesn't come back until after 7. Maya threw off her blanket and walked to the window. The sun was just starting to rise over the city. "I don't know about this. Please, Maya, you're the only person I can ask. We're identical twins. He won't even notice the difference if you just act normal." Sophie's voice cracked. "I really need this job. My rent is due next week," Maya sighed. She understood financial pressure better than anyone. She'd been working as a substitute art teacher, but the jobs were sporadic and the pay was barely enough to cover her own expenses. "What if I mess something up?" "You won't. I'll text you all the details. The schedule, what Lily likes to eat, everything. Just be yourself, but maybe a little more reserved. I keep things professional there." "Professional with a 5-year-old? You know what I mean. Just don't get too attached. It's a job." Maya thought about her empty calendar for the day. She had no classes scheduled and her only plan was to work on her art portfolio. "Fine, but you owe me." "Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll send you the address right now. Be there by 8:30. The father leaves for work at 8:15, so you should arrive right after he's gone." An hour later, Maya stood in front of a tall iron gate, staring at the address on her phone and then back at the house beyond the gate. House was the wrong word. It was a mansion. 3 stories of modern architecture with floor-to-ceiling windows and perfectly manicured gardens. Sophie. What the hell? Maya whispered to herself. Her sister had said the family was comfortable. This wasn't comfortable. This was wealthy, the kind of wealthy that Maya had only seen in magazines. She pressed the intercom button at the gate, her heart pounding. "Hello?" a small voice answered. "Hi, it's Sophie. I'm here for work." The gate buzzed and swung open smoothly. Maya walked up the stone pathway, taking in the fountain, the rose bushes, the sheer size of everything. When she reached the front door, it opened before she could knock. A little girl with curly blonde hair and bright blue eyes stood there wearing a pink dress and holding a stuffed rabbit. She looked up at Maya with a huge smile. "Miss Sophie, you look different today." Maya's breath caught. She forced a smile. "Do I? Maybe it's just the morning light. Your hair is down. You always wear it up." Maya touched her loose hair. Of course Sophie wore hers up for work. "I thought I'd try something new today." Lily grabbed her hand and pulled her inside. "Come on, Daddy just left and I'm really hungry. Can we have pancakes?" The inside of the house was even more impressive than the outside. The entrance hall had marble floors and a chandelier that probably cost more than Maya's yearly income. Everything was spotless and expensive looking, but there was something cold about it. Despite all the beautiful furniture and artwork, it didn't feel like a home where people laughed and made memories. Maya followed Lily into a massive kitchen with an island bigger than Maya's entire apartment kitchen. "Pancakes sound great. Do you know where everything is?" "Of course, silly. You make them all the time." Lily pointed at various cabinets. "Flour is there, eggs in the fridge, and the pan is in that drawer." As Maya gathered ingredients, she noticed there were no photos on the refrigerator, no children's drawings stuck to any surface, no signs of the messy, joyful chaos that usually came with a 5-year-old. Everything was pristine and orderly. "So what do you usually do in the mornings?" Maya asked, whisking the batter. Lily shrugged, swinging her legs from the tall chair at the island. "We eat breakfast, then you give me worksheets to practice my letters and numbers. Then I play by myself while you clean the kitchen and do laundry." "You play by yourself?" "Uh-huh, you say you have work to do." Maya's heart squeezed. She poured batter onto the hot griddle. What if today we do something different? After breakfast, what if we do some art projects? Lily's eyes went wide. Really? Like painting? Sure. Do you like painting? I don't know. I've never tried it. Daddy says it makes too much mess. Well, messes can be cleaned up. That's the fun of it. Over breakfast, Lily chattered away, and Maya realized her sister had been keeping this child at arm's length. Lily was starved for attention and connection. When Maya asked about her favorite things, Lily lit up talking about butterflies and rainbows and her stuffed rabbit named Hoppy. Do you have a mommy? Lily asked suddenly, her voice quieter. Maya paused. I do you? Lily shook her head. My mommy died when I was little. I don't really remember her. Daddy has pictures, but he doesn't like to talk about her because it makes him sad. I'm sorry, sweetheart. That must be hard. It's okay. I have Daddy and Miss Sophie. But Daddy is always working and Miss Sophie is always busy. She looked up at Maya with those big blue eyes. You seem different today, nicer. Maya felt a lump in her throat. How about we find some art supplies and make something beautiful? They spent the next 2 hours transforming the formal dining room into an art studio. Maya found some old newspapers in the recycling, and Lily showed her where the craft supplies were kept in a closet, unopened and gathering dust. They painted colorful butterflies and rainbows, and for the first time since Maya had arrived, the house felt alive. Lily laughed, getting paint on her nose. Maya showed her how to mix colors and create patterns. They were so absorbed in their work that neither of them heard the front door open. What's going on here? Maya's head snapped up. A tall man stood in the doorway of the dining room, wearing an expensive navy suit and carrying a briefcase. He had dark hair, sharp features, and exhausted eyes that were currently fixed on her with confusion. Her stomach dropped. The father wasn't supposed to be home until evening. Daddy! Lily jumped up, running to him with paint-covered hands. Look what we made. Miss Sophie is teaching me to paint. The man's eyes moved from his daughter to the paintings spread across the table, then back to Maya. His expression shifted from confusion to something else. Suspicion, maybe, or curiosity. Maya stood frozen, her mind racing for an explanation, knowing that everything was about to fall apart. The man stared at Maya for what felt like forever. She could see his mind working, trying to figure out what was different. Lily was still tugging at his jacket, completely oblivious to the tension in the room. Daddy, look at this one. It's a rainbow butterfly. Miss Sophie said I'm really good at mixing colors. He crouched down to look at his daughter's painting, but his eyes kept drifting back to Maya. It's beautiful, sweetheart. Why don't you go wash your hands? They're covered in paint. Okay. Lily skipped out of the room, humming to herself. The moment she was gone, the man stood up and crossed his arms. You're not Sophie. Maya's mouth went dry. I can explain. I'm listening. She took a deep breath. Sophie is my twin sister. She got really sick last night and she couldn't come to work. She asked me to cover for her just for today. I know I should have called you first, but she said you'd already left for work and she was desperate. I'm so sorry. I'll leave right now. He was quiet for a moment, studying her face. Twin sister. That explains the resemblance. He set his briefcase down on a chair. I'm Nathan, by the way. Nathan Carter. Maya. Again, I'm really sorry about this. How sick is Sophie? Food poisoning. She could barely talk this morning. Nathan nodded slowly. And you thought pretending to be her was a good idea? It seemed like the only option at the time. She was panicking about losing her job and I just wanted to help. Maya gestured at the paintings. I know this probably isn't how she usually does things. I got carried away. No, you didn't. His voice was softer now. This is the first time in weeks I've heard Lily laugh like that. Maya blinked in surprise. Really? He walked over to the table, picking up one of the paintings. Sophie is reliable and punctual. The house is always clean and Lily is always fed and on schedule. But she keeps everything very structured, very distant. He looked at Maya. Lily has been quieter lately, more withdrawn. I thought she was just going through a phase. She told me about her mom, Maya said quietly. I'm sorry for your loss. Nathan's jaw tightened. It's been 2 years. Everyone says time heals, but some days it feels like yesterday. He set the painting down carefully. I threw myself into work. Maybe too much. I built my company from nothing, and when my wife died, it was the only thing that made sense. Numbers, strategy, problems I could actually solve. And Lily? I thought having a good nanny would be enough, someone to keep her safe and on routine. But watching her just now, seeing her so happy, he trailed off, running a hand through his hair. I've been failing her, haven't I? Maya didn't know what to say. This wasn't the angry boss she'd expected. This was a tired, grieving father who was trying his best and worried it wasn't enough. You haven't failed her, Maya said. She talks about you with so much love. She knows you're working hard for her. Does she? Or does she just know I'm always gone? Before Maya could answer, Lily came running back in, her hands still damp from washing. Daddy, why are you home? Did you forget something? Nathan smiled, and Maya saw how much love was in that expression. My morning meeting got canceled. I thought I'd come back and have lunch with my favorite girl. Is that okay? Yes. Lily jumped up and down. Can Miss Sophie stay too, please? Nathan looked at Maya, and she saw something in his eyes she couldn't quite read. Actually, I was hoping Maya would join us. Would that be all right? The way he said her real name felt significant somehow, like he was acknowledging that she wasn't pretending anymore. I'd love to, Maya said. Lunch was nothing like Maya expected. Nathan ordered pizza, which Lily said they almost never had because Sophie believed in home-cooked meals only. They sat around the kitchen island instead of the formal dining room, and Nathan loosened his tie and rolled up his sleeves. So, Maya, he said, handing Lily a slice. What do you do when you're not impersonating nannies? Maya laughed nervously. I'm an art teacher, or I was. I've been doing substitute work since the school I worked at had budget cuts. They eliminated the art program entirely. That's terrible, Nathan said, and he seemed genuinely upset about it. Art is so important for kids, I think so too. I've been trying to save up to start a community art studio, somewhere kids can come after school and on weekends, especially kids whose schools don't have art programs anymore. But rent in this city is insane, and I'm still paying off student loans. That's a beautiful dream, Nathan said. The world needs more people who care about giving kids creative outlets. Lily tugged on Maya's sleeve. Would I be allowed to come to your art studio? Of course. You'd be my star student. As they ate, Maya found herself relaxing. Nathan asked her questions about her life, her favorite artists, what techniques she loved to teach. He listened intently, like every word mattered. It had been a long time since someone with his presence and focus had been interested in what she had to say. What about you? Maya asked. Sophie mentioned you work in tech. I own a software company. We develop security systems for businesses. It's not creative like art, but it's challenging. He smiled slightly, though right now it's mostly just exhausting. Daddy works all the time, Lily said matter-of-factly. Even when he's home, he's on his computer. Nathan's smile faded. I know, sweetheart. I'm sorry about that. It's okay. You're here now. After lunch, Nathan surprised them both by suggesting they continue the art projects. He changed out of his suit into jeans and a t-shirt, and Maya tried not to notice how different he looked. Less intimidating. More human. They spent the afternoon painting together. Nathan was terrible at it, which made Lily giggle. He got more paint on himself than on the paper. But he was laughing too. Really laughing. And Maya could see the weight lifting from his shoulders. I can't remember the last time I did something like this, he admitted, looking at his abstract mess of colors. I think I was in elementary school. You're never too old for art, Maya said. It's not about being good at it. It's about expressing yourself. Then I'm expressing chaos, Nathan joked, showing her his painting. I think it's nice. Daddy, Lily said loyally. As the afternoon wore on, Maya kept expecting Nathan to say he had to go back to work. But he didn't. He stayed, asking Lily about her favorite colors, her favorite animals, her dreams. Things Maya suspected he hadn't had time to ask in a while. Around 4 o'clock, Lily started getting tired. All the excitement had worn her out. Nathan carried her to the couch and she curled up with her stuffed rabbit, her eyes drooping. Thank you, Nathan said quietly, standing next to Maya in the kitchen while Lily dozed. Today has been. I didn't realize how much I needed this. How much she needed this. She's a wonderful kid. You're doing better than you think. He turned to face her fully. Can I ask you something? Sure. Would you consider taking over as Lily's nanny? Permanently? Maya's heart stopped. What? I know it's sudden and I know you have your teaching career. But the pay is substantial. Much more than substitute teaching. And more importantly, Lily connected with you in a few hours more than she has with anyone in months, including me. But Sophie, I'll call Sophie tonight and explain. I'll make sure she gets severance pay. This isn't about her doing anything wrong. It's about what's right for Lily. He paused. What do you say? Will you at least think about it? Maya looked at Lily sleeping peacefully on the couch, then at the paintings scattered around the dining room. She thought about her empty bank account, her student loans, her studio dream that felt impossibly far away. I need to talk to Sophie first, Maya said slowly. This is her job. I can't just take it without talking to her. Nathan nodded. I understand. That's fair. Take tonight to think about it and talk to your sister. Whatever you decide, thank you for today. You gave us both something we didn't know we were missing. As Maya gathered her things to leave, Lily woke up and ran over to hug her. Will you come back tomorrow, Maya? Maya looked at Nathan, then at this sweet little girl who just wanted someone to pay attention to her. I'll let you know soon, okay? On the drive home, Maya's mind was spinning. The offer was incredible, life-changing even, but taking it meant hurting her sister. And as much as she'd connected with Lily and felt something stirring when Nathan looked at her, she couldn't ignore the guilt building in her chest. This was going to be the hardest conversation of her life. Maya sat in her car outside Sophie's apartment for 20 minutes before she finally found the courage to go inside. Her hands were shaking as she climbed the stairs to the second floor. She'd rehearsed what to say a dozen times, but every version sounded terrible. Sophie opened the door before Maya could knock. She looked better, though still pale and weak. How did it go? Did he notice anything? Maya stepped inside the small apartment. It was so different from Nathan's mansion. Cramped and cluttered, but it was home. We need to talk. Sophie's face fell. Oh no, what happened? Did I lose the job? Not exactly. Maya sat down on the worn couch. He came home early. In the middle of the day. What? Sophie's voice rose. And he saw you? He figured out pretty quickly that I wasn't you. I had to tell him the truth. Maya watched her sister sink into the chair across from her. Sophie, I'm so sorry, but something happened today that I need to tell you about. As Maya explained everything, she watched Sophie's expression change from worry to confusion to anger. When Maya got to the part about Nathan's job offer, Sophie stood up abruptly. He offered you my job? While you were pretending to be me? It wasn't like that. He said it's because Lily connected with me, that she's been withdrawn lately, and today was the first time in weeks he'd seen her really happy. So I'm not good enough? Sophie's voice cracked. I show up on time every single day. I keep that house spotless. I follow every rule and routine perfectly. I know you do. Nathan said you're reliable and professional. But Sophie, that little girl is lonely. She needs more than just someone following a schedule. And you're better at that than me. Sophie crossed her arms. You waltz in for one day, play art teacher, and suddenly you're the perfect nanny? Maya felt her own frustration rising. I'm not saying I'm better. I'm saying maybe she needs something different. Connection, warmth. Someone who actually talks to her like she's a person and not just another task on a checklist. That's not fair. I keep things professional because that's what a job is supposed to be. You don't get attached. You don't blur boundaries. You do your work and you go home. But she's a child, Sophie. A sad, lonely child who lost her mother and barely sees her father. She doesn't need professional. She needs someone who cares. They stared at each other across the small living room. Years of unspoken tension seemed to fill the space between them. You've always been like this, Sophie said quietly. Everything comes so easy for you. People just love you automatically. You're the creative one, the fun one, the one everyone remembers. And I'm just the responsible one who pays her bills on time. Maya felt like she'd been slapped. That's what you think? Sophie, I'm broke. I can barely afford groceries most weeks. I lost my job and I've been scrambling for months. Meanwhile, you have steady work and your own apartment. You have your life together. But you have something I don't. You have this natural way with people. That family fell in love with you in one day. One day, Maya. I've been there for 4 months and he never looked at me the way you described him looking at you. What are you talking about? Sophie laughed bitterly. You don't even see it. When you talked about him, your whole face changed. And the way you described him watching you paint with Lily? That's not just a boss observing his employee. Maya felt her cheeks heat up. You're being ridiculous. He's grieving his wife and worried about his daughter. That's all. Keep telling yourself that. Sophie walked to the window, her back to Maya. Take the job. You obviously want it. Not like this. Not if it means losing you. We were already losing each other, Maya. We've been drifting apart for years. You want to save the world through art, and I just want stability. We're too different. We're sisters, I know. But maybe that's not enough anymore. Sophie's voice was hollow. I'll call Nathan tomorrow and officially quit. He can hire you with a clear conscience. Maya stood up, tears stinging her eyes. Sophie, please. Can't we talk about this? There's nothing to talk about. You need the money. The kid needs you. Take it. Sophie finally turned around and Maya saw tears on her sister's face too. Just go, Maya. Please. Maya left with a heavy heart, feeling like she'd just broken something that could never be fully repaired. The next morning, Maya called Nathan and accepted the position. He sounded relieved and happy, telling her she could start the following Monday. That gave her a few days to prepare and to try one more time to fix things with Sophie, though her sister wasn't answering her calls. When Monday arrived, Maya showed up at the mansion with a mix of excitement and guilt churning in her stomach. Lily met her at the door with a squeal of joy, wrapping her small arms around Maya's waist. You came back. Daddy said you were going to be my new nanny forever. That's right, sweetie. Maya hugged her back and some of the guilt lifted. This was why she'd made this choice. For this little girl who needed her. Nathan came down the stairs, dressed for work but moving slower than last time. He smiled when he saw her. Good morning. Thank you for coming. I know this wasn't an easy decision. How are things with your sister? He asked quietly while Lily ran ahead to the kitchen. Honestly, not great. She's not talking to me. Maya adjusted her bag on her shoulder. But I hope she'll understand eventually. I sent her a generous severance package. I hope that helps, at least financially. That's kind of you. Over the next few weeks, Maya settled into a routine with Lily. But it wasn't the rigid schedule Sophie had maintained. They had art time every morning, then reading, then outdoor play if the weather was nice. Maya taught Lily about colors and shapes, about expressing feelings through drawing. The little girl bloomed under the attention. Nathan started coming home earlier. First by 30 minutes, then an hour, then 2 hours. He'd find them in the garden collecting leaves for art projects, or in the kitchen baking cookies or reading together on the couch. And he'd join them. One evening, about 3 weeks into Maya's new position, Nathan asked her to stay after Lily went to bed. They sat in the kitchen with tea, and Maya noticed how comfortable it felt, like they'd known each other much longer than a few weeks. I wanted to thank you properly, Nathan said. The change in Lily has been remarkable. She's talking more, sleeping better, even eating better. You've brought life back into this house, and she's an amazing kid. She just needed someone to see that. I've been thinking about what you said that first day, about your dream to open a community art studio. He pulled out his phone and showed her something. I found this property. It's in a good neighborhood, near several schools that have cut their art programs. The rent is reasonable. Maya's heart started racing. Nathan, I can't afford that. Not yet. What if I invested in it? As a business partner. You'd run the studio, teach the classes, build the program. I'd handle the financial side and the business structure. We could offer scholarships to kids who can't afford classes. Make it really accessible. Maya stared at him. You're serious? Completely. I've been looking for ways to give back to the community, and this feels right. Plus, I've seen firsthand what a difference art can make. Lily is proof of that. I don't know what to say. Say you'll think about it. There's no pressure. But Maya, you're talented and passionate, and you deserve a chance to make your dream real. She looked at him, really looked at him, and saw something in his eyes that made her breath catch. It wasn't just professional interest or friendly support. There was something deeper there, something warm and intense that both thrilled and terrified her. I'll think about it, she said softly. As she drove home that night, Maya realized her life had completely changed in less than a month. She had a job she loved, a child she cared about deeply, and a man who was offering to help her achieve her biggest dream. But she also had a sister who wouldn't speak to her, and a growing attraction to her boss that she knew was dangerous. She thought about Nathan's sad smile when he talked about his late wife, about the way he looked at her sometimes when he thought she wasn't watching, about how her heart sped up whenever he walked into the room. This was getting complicated in ways she hadn't anticipated, and she had no idea how to navigate it without getting hurt or hurting the people she was starting to care about most. 2 months passed, and Maya couldn't remember what her life had been like before Lily and Nathan. The mansion that had once felt cold and empty now felt like home. There were paintings taped to the refrigerator, toys scattered in the living room and laughter echoing through the hallways. Maya and Nathan had signed the papers for the art studio. Construction was underway to transform the empty space into something magical. Nathan visited the site with her on weekends, offering suggestions and getting excited about paint colors and classroom layouts. Lily came too, already planning which corner would be hers. But the better things got with them, the worse things felt with Sophie. Her sister had blocked her number. When Maya went to her apartment, Sophie wouldn't answer the door. Their mother called weekly, begging Maya to fix whatever had broken between them, but Maya didn't know how. One afternoon, while Lily was napping, Maya stood in the studio space with Nathan. Workers were installing the last of the windows, and sunlight poured across the concrete floor. "It's really happening," Maya whispered, almost afraid to believe it. Nathan stood beside her, close enough that she could smell his cologne. "You're making it happen. I'm just providing the space, and you're doing more than that. You're giving me a chance I never thought I'd have." He turned to face her, and the look in his eyes made her heart skip. They'd been dancing around this thing between them for weeks now. The accidental touches that lasted too long. The conversations that stretched late into the evening. The way he looked at her when she was playing with Lily. "Maya, he started, but his phone rang. He glanced at it and sighed. "I have to take this. It's the office." The moment broke, and Maya exhaled a breath she didn't know she'd been holding. This was dangerous territory. He was her boss. He was Lily's father, and he was still grieving his wife even if he didn't talk about it much anymore. That evening, Maya was cleaning up after dinner when the doorbell rang. Nathan was upstairs putting Lily to bed, so Maya went to answer it. Sophie stood on the doorstep. Maya's mouth fell open. "Sophie, can I come in?" Her sister's voice was cold, formal. Maya stepped aside, and Sophie walked into the house she'd worked in for months. She looked around at the changes with an unreadable expression. "The place looks different, more lived in." "Sophie, I've been trying to reach you for weeks. I'm not here for a reunion. I'm here to talk to Nathan." Sophie's eyes were hard. "Is he available?" "He's upstairs with Lily. What's this about?" "That's between me and him." Nathan came down the stairs, stopping when he saw Sophie. "Sophie, this is unexpected. I need to speak with you privately." She glanced at Maya. "About some concerns I have." Nathan's expression shifted to something more guarded. "All right, let's go to my office." He looked at Maya. "Could you check on Lily in a few minutes? She might want another story." Maya nodded, her stomach twisting with anxiety. She tried to focus on tidying the kitchen, but she couldn't stop wondering what Sophie was saying. 20 minutes passed. Then 30. She went upstairs and read Lily another story, tucking her in with her stuffed rabbit. "Is that lady downstairs my old nanny?" Lily asked sleepily. "Yes, sweetie. She just came to visit. I like you better. You play with me." Maya kissed her forehead. "Get some sleep, okay?" When she came back downstairs, she heard raised voices from Nathan's office. Not quite yelling, but close. Her heart pounded as she debated whether to interrupt or wait. Finally, the office door opened. Sophie came out first, her face flushed and angry. Nathan followed, looking frustrated and tired. "You can't just come into my home and make accusations," Nathan said firmly. "I'm trying to protect that little girl. Someone has to." Sophie grabbed her purse from where she'd set it on the hall table. "You're making a mistake and you're too blind to see it." "Sophie, what's going on?" Maya stepped forward, her sister whirled on her. "You want to know? I told Nathan the truth about you. About that first day, how you lied and manipulated your way into this job." Maya felt the blood drain from her face. "I never manipulated anyone. You asked me to help you, and you saw an opportunity and took it. You saw a rich, lonely man and a child who needed attention, and you swooped in like you always do. Making everyone love you while I'm left with nothing. That's not fair," Maya said, her voice shaking. "You know it wasn't like that." Nathan held up his hand. "Sophie, I appreciate you coming here, but I already knew everything you told me. Maya was honest with me from the beginning about how this started. There was no manipulation." Sophie laughed bitterly. "Of course you defend her. She's got you wrapped around her finger just like everyone else. Can't you see what's happening here? She's not just a nanny to you anymore, is she?" The silence that followed was deafening. Maya couldn't breathe. Nathan's jaw clenched. "I think you should leave," he said quietly. "I'm trying to help you see clearly. Your wife has been gone for 2 years. And the first woman who pays attention to your daughter suddenly becomes someone you can't stop thinking about. That's not love, Nathan. That's loneliness and grief looking for a replacement. Get out. Nathan's voice was steel. Now. Sophie looked at Maya one last time, and there was so much pain in her eyes that Maya almost broke. I hope it's worth it, losing your sister over this fantasy, because that's all it is. A fantasy that's going to fall apart, and you'll be left with nothing. Just like me. She left, slamming the door behind her. The sound echoed through the house like a gunshot. Maya stood frozen, tears streaming down her face. Nathan ran his hands through his hair, looking devastated. I'm so sorry, he said. I never meant for any of this to hurt you. Is she right? Maya asked, her voice barely a whisper. Am I just a replacement for what you lost? No, God, no. He stepped closer. Maya, these past 2 months have been... I didn't think I could feel this way again. I didn't think I deserved to. But you've brought light back into our lives. Not just Lily's, mine too. I'm your employee. Lily's nanny. This is wrong. And why is it wrong? Because of timing? Because of how we met? He reached out like he wanted to touch her face, but stopped himself. I know this is complicated. I know it's messy. But what I feel when I look at you, when I see you with my daughter, when we talk late at night about dreams and fears, that's real. And I think you feel it too, Maya did. She'd been feeling it for weeks, fighting it, telling herself it was impossible. But standing here now, with her heart breaking over Sophie and simultaneously racing because Nathan was finally saying the words she'd been afraid to hope for, she couldn't deny it anymore. I do feel it, she admitted. But I just lost my sister over this job, over you. And I don't even know if what we're feeling is real or if it's just circumstances throwing us together. Then let's find out. Slowly, carefully. His voice was gentle. I'm not asking you to figure everything out tonight. I'm just asking you not to run away from this. What about Lily? If this doesn't work out, I can't just disappear from her life. She's already lost her mother. I know. That's why we take our time. We figure out what this is before we change anything. He finally let his hand brush her cheek, wiping away a tear. But Maya, I can't keep pretending I don't feel this. It's been so long since I felt alive, and you did that. You and your paint-stained jeans and your terrible jokes and the way you sing off-key when you think no one's listening. Despite everything, Maya laughed through her tears. I don't sing off-key. You absolutely do. Lily and I have discussed it. She shook her head, overwhelmed by everything happening. Sophie's words kept echoing in her mind. Her sister thought she'd destroyed their relationship for a fantasy. What if she was right? What if this thing with Nathan fell apart and Maya ended up alone, having lost both her sister and this family she'd grown to love? But looking at Nathan, seeing the hope and fear mixed in his eyes, she realized she couldn't walk away. Not yet, not without knowing if this could be something real. Okay, she whispered. We take it slow. We figure it out together. He smiled, really smiled, and it transformed his whole face. Thank you. That night after Nathan went to bed, Maya sat in the darkened living room, looking at the paintings on the walls. She pulled out her phone and typed a message to Sophie, knowing it probably wouldn't be read but needing to send it anyway. I'm sorry for hurting you. I never meant to take anything from you. You're my sister and I love you. When you're ready to talk, I'll be here. Always. She hit send and watched the message deliver. No response came. Maya didn't expect one. But maybe someday Sophie would read it. Maybe someday they'd find their way back to each other. For now, all Maya could do was move forward and hope she was making the right choice. 3 months later, the art studio was ready to open. Maya stood in the bright, colorful space looking at the rows of easels, the shelves stocked with supplies and the walls already decorated with sample artwork. It felt surreal, like stepping into a dream she'd carried for years. Nathan walked up behind her carrying 2 cups of coffee. Nervous about tomorrow? Terrified, Maya admitted. What if no one comes? What if I'm terrible at running a business? You won't be. And they'll come. We already have 30 kids registered for the first week. He handed her a coffee. You're going to change lives here, Maya. I know it. Things between them had shifted slowly, just as they'd promised. They'd gone on a few dates, always when Lily was with Nathan's parents. Dinners where they talked for hours. Walks in the park where they held hands. A movie where they'd both been too aware of each other to pay attention to the screen. But they'd been careful. Lily still saw Maya primarily as her nanny and Nathan's friend. They hadn't told her anything yet, wanting to be sure this was real and lasting before bringing a 6-year-old's heart into it. I wish Sophie could see this, Maya said quietly. It was something she thought often but rarely said out loud. Nathan squeezed her shoulder gently. Have you tried reaching out again? Every week. She never responds. Maya sipped her coffee. My mom says she's doing okay. She got a new job at a law firm, taking care of a partner's kids. Better pay than what you were giving her, actually. That's good. I'm glad she's doing well, and are you? Because she tried to sabotage everything that night. She was hurt and angry. I understand that. Doesn't mean I agreed with what she did, but I understand it. He turned Maya to face him. And she wasn't entirely wrong about some things. I was lonely. I was grieving. Meeting you did wake something up in me that I'd thought was dead. Nathan, let me finish. She was wrong about the replacement part. You're not replacing anyone. You're someone entirely new who helped me remember that it's okay to be happy again. There's a difference. Maya leaned into him and he wrapped his arms around her. This still felt new and slightly scary, but also right in a way she couldn't explain. The studio's opening day was chaos in the best way. Kids poured through the doors with their parents, excited and chattering. Maya had arranged for scholarships so that 15 children from underprivileged schools could attend for free. Watching their faces light up when they saw the art supplies made every struggle worth it. Lily was there too, proudly showing other kids around like she owned the place. Nathan stayed in the background, but Maya could feel his eyes on her all day, warm and proud. By the time the last class ended, Maya was exhausted but glowing. She locked up the studio and found Nathan waiting outside with Lily, who was half asleep on his shoulder. Someone had a big day, Nathan said with a smile. She was amazing. She helped the younger kids with their paintings. Maya brushed Lily's hair back gently. Just like you taught me, Lily mumbled sleepily. They drove home together, Lily falling asleep completely in the back seat. It felt natural now, this life they'd built. Comfortable. Like a family, though nobody had said that word yet. After putting Lily to bed, Maya and Nathan sat on the back patio, looking at the stars. The night was quiet except for crickets and the distant sound of traffic. I need to tell you something, Nathan said, his voice serious enough that Maya's stomach flipped. Okay. Lily asked me yesterday why I smile so much now, why I'm home more, why I seem happy. He took Maya's hand, and she asked if it's because of you. What did you say? I told her the truth, that yes, you make me happy. And then she asked if that meant you were going to be her new mommy. Maya's breath caught. Nathan, we talked about taking this slow. I know. And I told her that grown-up relationships are complicated and we're still figuring things out. But Maya, she was excited. She wanted to know if it meant you'd never leave. If you'd always be there for her bedtime stories and art projects. What am I supposed to say to that? I'm not asking you to say anything yet. I'm just telling you that Lily already loves you. Has for months. And He paused, gathering courage. I'm falling in love with you too. Maybe I already have. And I needed you to know that before we go any further. Maya felt tears prick her eyes. She'd known for weeks that she loved him. Loved Lily. Loved this life they'd accidentally created. But hearing him say it made it real in a way that terrified and thrilled her. I love you too, she whispered. Both of you. But I'm scared. What if Sophie was right? What if this falls apart and I lose everything? Life doesn't come with guarantees. I learned that the hard way. But I also learned that love is worth the risk. Always. He cupped her face gently. I'm not asking for forever tonight. I'm just asking you to keep choosing this. Choosing us. One day at a time. She kissed him and it felt like coming home. 2 weeks later, Maya was at the studio between classes when someone knocked on the door. She looked up from organizing supplies and froze. Sophie stood outside looking nervous and uncertain. Maya's hands shook as she unlocked the door. Hi. Hi. Sophie looked around at the studio, taking it all in. It's beautiful. Mom showed me pictures, but seeing it in person. What are you doing here? I've been thinking a lot. About everything I said that night. About how angry I've been. Sophie finally met her eyes. I was wrong, Maya, about so many things. Maya didn't trust herself to speak. I was jealous. Not just of the job or Nathan. I was jealous of how easily things seem to come to you. How people gravitate toward you. I've spent my whole life feeling like the boring twin, the forgettable one. And when you took over my job and they liked you better in one day, it confirmed every insecurity I've ever had. Sophie, that's not... Let me finish. Please. Sophie took a shaky breath. But my new job has been good for me. The family I work for now, They appreciate what I bring to the table. Structure, reliability, consistency. The mom told me last week that I'm exactly what they needed. And I realized that's okay. I don't have to be you. I can be me, and that's enough. Tears streamed down Maya's face. You were always enough. I never meant to make you feel less than. I know. And I'm sorry for the things I said to Nathan. For trying to ruin what you have. I was hurting and I wanted you to hurt too. Sophie wiped her own eyes. But you're my sister. And I miss you. So if you can forgive me, I'd really like to try to fix this. Maya crossed the space between them and hugged her sister tight. Sophie hugged back just as fiercely, both of them crying and laughing at the same time. I'm so sorry, Maya said. For everything. Me too. Me too. They spent the next hour talking, really talking, for the first time in months. Sophie shared stories about her new job, and Maya told her about the studio and Nathan and Lily. It wasn't perfect. There were still hurt feelings and things to work through. But it was a start. So you really love him? Sophie asked finally. I do. Is that okay? Sophie smiled, and it was genuine. Yeah, it's okay. You deserve to be happy, Maya. Even if it took me a while to see that. 6 months later, on a sunny Saturday afternoon, the studio hosted a special showcase. Kids' artwork covered every wall, and proud parents filled the space, taking pictures and celebrating their children's creativity. Lily's paintings had a whole section to themselves. She stood next to them in a paint-splattered dress, explaining her artistic choices to anyone who would listen. Nathan stood nearby, looking at his daughter with such love and pride that Maya's heart swelled. Sophie was there too, with her new boyfriend, a kind teacher she'd met through her job. She and Maya weren't as close as they'd once been, but they were rebuilding, having coffee every week, texting each other silly memes, learning to be sisters again in a new way. Nathan found Maya in the crowd and pulled her close. Hey, you. Hey, yourself. There's something I want to show you. He led her outside to the small garden behind the studio. Lily was already there, bouncing on her toes with excitement. What's going on? Maya asked. Nathan got down on one knee and Maya's world stopped spinning. Maya, you came into our lives by accident, but you staying was the best choice I've ever made. You've given Lily her smile back. You've given me hope again. You've made our house a home. He pulled out a small box. Lily and I talked about this and we both agree. We want you to be part of our family officially. Will you marry me? Say yes, Lily shouted, unable to contain herself. Maya looked at this man she loved, this child who'd stolen her heart, and the life they'd built together from one impulsive decision to help her sister. It hadn't been easy. It hadn't been simple. But it had been real. Yes, she said, laughing through happy tears. Yes, absolutely yes. Nathan stood and kissed her while Lily cheered. Through the window, Maya could see Sophie watching, smiling genuinely, giving her a thumbs up. Sometimes life's best moments come from the risks we're afraid to take. From choosing love even when it's complicated. From believing that second chances and new beginnings are always possible. Maya had started this journey trying to help her sister for one day. She'd ended up finding a family, a purpose, and a love she never expected. And that made all the messy, complicated, beautiful moments in between worth every single second.